Mr. Calhoun, let's put it very bluntly. 346 people died because of a faulty control system, the MCAS system, that Boeing knew was going to cause a crash at some point, correct?
I would not say the latter part of that sentence.
Well, now you're going to make me really angry because the evidence shows, in fact, that the engineers working on this plane knew that that faulty control system drove the nose down under certain circumstances, and therefore Boeing was charged with defrauding the United States of America. And the prosecution was deferred because Boeing paid a fine, but no individual was held accountable. In my view, and I said it at the time, individuals should be held accountable for those deaths. Don't you agree?
Senator, it's wrong for me to reinvestigate an investigation that was
I'm not talking about reinvestigating.
You were investigated by DOJ for criminal conspiracy to defraud the FAA. This is all in your tenure. This doesn't sound like a lot of transparency to me. So it's working out great for you. For the American people, they're in danger. For your workers, they're in peril. For your whistleblowers, they literally fear for their lives, but you're getting compensated like never before. Why haven't you resigned?
Senator, I'm sticking this through. I'm proud of having taken the job. I'm proud of our safety record, and I am very proud of our Boeing people.
You're proud of this safety record?
I am proud of every action we have taken.
Every action you've taken?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. There's some news for you.
Year to date, Boeing stock declined by 32%. The company has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Safety and security around its planes, especially the 737 MAX, very public hearings with many whistleblowers, and its inability to find a new CEO. So in this video, we will be looking at Boeing through the financial lenses and tell you whether you should buy, keep, or sell the stock, and also tell you about the outlook of the company. As usual, if this is your type of content, please comment and like the video, and also drop your comment or thoughts on Boeing. If you hold the stock, if you are planning to buy some, what do you think of the company? Just drop it down there. And also, before starting the video, this is a very, very sad subject to the victims and their families. We understand that. That's why we are just looking at this through the financial lenses. So there, I'm sure you've seen all the news around Boeing. What's your thought of the whole company and the whole situation?
Yeah, operation at Boeing has been in decline since COVID started, actually, or a little bit before that. The 737 MAX plane has had so many issues. Unfortunately, some people have died in this situation. And even the whistleblowers, people who work for Boeing, who were reporting these issues, ended up dying because, no conspiracy theories. A lot of bad things are just happening at Boeing. Bad management, cutting corners, misbehaving against safety protocols. A lot of bad management, bad operation are happening in the company. But the company is strategic to the United States. Company has big defense contractor, also works with NASA as contractor for space programs. The company is so central to the United States that it's almost like it's too big to fail. And we are going to talk about that in this video. And if you like this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this goes back to the previous video that we did on Intel. The same story, too big to fail. Let's dive into the financials first. This is Boeing's earnings Q1, the first quarter of 2024. And for me, the first thing here, this is the third page on their business update. And you can see in the bottom there, they have focus on safety and quality. If you start seeing in a company's business update some branding some kind of stuff around safety and security, it means the company is in deep shit, right? But yeah, going further in terms of the revenues, we can see the one in 2024 versus 2023, and there is a slight decline there. The operating margin for the whole business has been negative for past year and even now, and everything else is negative basically. Like revenues going down, the margin from operation is not there, free cash flow is negative. It's not great. That's the first picture. If we continue, for people that are not very familiar with Boeing, what you should know is that the business is broken down into 3 segments. So they have their commercial airplanes segment, which you are seeing here. They also have their defense and security segment, and then they have their global services segment. So commercial airplanes sell commercial airplanes, defense and security, that's what they are talked about before. They have a bunch of contract with the US and some other governments. And then the global service, they are the one that fix and maintain, basically service and maintain the planes that they sell, right? Yeah. This is the commercial airplanes. And what you can see here is that the revenue is declining here as well, declining from 6.7 billion to 4.7 billion, which is quite a bit. That's around like 30%. And basically this is due to a decline in delivery in the airplanes. And the operation margin as well, which is in the bottom there. You can see it was minus 9% in 2023, and then now is minus 24.6, meaning that it's getting worse basically.
Yeah, we can clearly see that the airplane business is slowing, right? They have a huge loss over there for 1.2 billion over there in the airplane business. This definitely shows that customers are concerned about what Boeing is delivering as products. During my research, I found out that now in the last 2 months, Boeing did not receive a single command or request for planes. They used to receive way more than that every month. And due to all the bad PR and all the issues they are having with their planes, that is also affecting delivery. At the time that we are speaking, Boeing is only able to release or build 2 planes a month. By 2025, they are hoping to increase that to 40, and I don't know how they are going to accomplish that.
Those are actually very, very good points. One thing that I wanted to mention as well is that commercial plane segment used to be the largest kind of segment for Boeing. In 2023, it has 37% of their revenue, followed by the defense that was 37% as well. And then you have the global service that had the rest 26%. But because things hasn't been going very well in the commercial plane segment, that segment now is the second. And now the defense is the biggest segment that drives the revenue, bringing 42% of their revenue. So you can see here that actually in the segment slide, things are getting better. This is a strong kind of segment for them because there is a growth here from 6.5 billion to 7 billion. And also the operating margin went from negative to positive. It's still a little bit low, but I mean, it's positive still. And they've also won some kind of contract with Canada and Germany, regarding the P-8, which is a kind of military airplane. This is like a strong segment for them. And any thought?
I'm now wondering, right? If this company cannot build planes that is known for, can it actually build defense equipment that are not faulty?
You are going to my conclusion at this stage, because after going through the numbers, like those are some of kind of answers that I came up with. Right. But looking at the global services, right, this is their healthiest segment, and revenue went from 4.7 to 5 billion. The growth is little, but the operating margin is great. I want to say before you jump in, for me, this is going to be so cynical because in a way,
exactly,
if all your products are faulty, your service and maintenance is going to be great, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, if you are known for building faulty products, of course, it's like people who, I'm gonna say something to kind of annoy people who build antivirus software. They create the viruses and they sell you the antivirus. This is exactly the same thing. Boeing will build terrible planes and you will pay for maintenance because the plane breaks down so much, right? This company is so strategic to the whole world almost, because even if companies stop buying or countries stop buying the plane, right? The alternative is just another company, which is Airbus, which is a European-based company. There is never good to only have 2 alternatives. You need competition so that everybody can actually deliver a good product. In this situation that we are in, the fact that we only have 2 suppliers in the world, and that means that the whole market is divided into 2, right? Between Boeing and Airbus. They can afford to build bad planes, because where are you going to go? If you are the airline company, for example, that has to buy these planes and use them to carry people around, where are you going to go? How many options do you have? At least if there was like 4 or 5 options, then Boeing will get its acts together. But this is not the case.
On your point on the duopoly of Boeing and Airbus, you are totally right. A lot of people in the sector actually talked about it. There is one company that's kind of incoming, but there is a little bit of trust issue there as well because it's a Chinese company. So there is a Chinese company called called Comac, and they're a manufacturer of airplane as well, but a lot of people don't trust that, especially the commercial airlines.
I wouldn't even say it's about trust, because if we want to talk about trust, Boeing has not done a good job at making people trust what it is selling. Do we today have any plane from Comac that has gone down? Probably not, right?
What I would say is that probably we don't know about it, because it is a Chinese kind of side of things. It can be hidden. You don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. But what is the ultimate conclusion to this is that there are government agencies, like in the US, we have the FAA, which will be the one approving these planes to fly over the US or anywhere in the US, right? And the European have their own commission as well. Those governmental bodies are the ones that are supposed to approve the use of those planes. And they are never going to allow it.
Even if they didn't allow Chinese manufacturer or whatever, they are not even playing the regulator role in the current market, because the FAA has been involved in some of the trickery that Boeing did, and they've approved some of the things that are causing all the safety and security issues now. So they are to blame as well.
Right. Again, this is something that in the long run is going to make the US or Boeing itself less competitive because of this duopoly.
Two other things that I wanted to mention as well are around the company's cash, the cash that they have available on their balance sheet. In Q1 2024, it was around 7.5 billion, and this actually decreased by half, basically from 16 to 7.5. And you guessed what this money was for, is paying lawyers, paying fines, and all those kind of paying the victims as well, and just a lot of money to cover maybe the whistleblowers as well. Cash-wise, they are very, very low. If you were to compare this to Apple, for example, Apple had like 63 billion on their balance sheet as cash. That's it for Boeing's financials.
I'll say the issue they are having is really catching up to them. That's what is going on right now.
Sorry, what do you mean by the issue they're having is catching up with them?
Yeah, like before, they told them, I believe the FFA was supposed to prosecute some members. And actually, when they were at the hearing, one of the senators was asking the CEO, should we prosecute anybody in the company for wrongdoing? And the CEO could not answer, right?
Yeah.
But because they have all these lawyer issues, they have all this lawsuit going on now, they have to actually spend the money to fight off those things. And not only that, commercial airlines, one of them here is called Southwest, and they only use Boeing planes. Now, because of Boeing's problems, Southwest is also having issues because they only rely on Boeing planes. The moment this is spread around the airline business, where a lot of airlines are running into issues, or people don't want to use your airline because you are flying this Boeing plane or not, capitalism is going to do its work, where people are going to say, I'm not going to buy a Boeing plane.
That's very difficult, though some of it happened already. So if you were to look back, the aftermath of the 2019 crash, what happened, just after that was the ban of the 737 MAX for almost a year by the FAA. And also in 2019, many airlines canceled their order from Boeing. In 2020, there were around 1,000 cancellation of the 737 MAX. The pandemic as well impacted their sales. And then in 2024, there were more cancellations are still going on. I mean, overall, as you are saying, it doesn't look great for them. Even this June, before preparing this thing, I was kind of just going through the news to see some of the things that are happening to Boeings. And they've been in the news for like so many crazy things. Like, I know that one of the planes' engine caught fire in Malaysia. I know that their plane for Air Alaska, the door plug came off during the flight. So many crazy things.
Even 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about business segments, right? They have the airplane, they have the segment where they build aerospace and defense equipment. They are in a contract with NASA currently. There are two astronauts are stuck in the US space station, and they could not go back home because Boeing faulty aircraft cannot carry them back.
Because there is a leakage actually of helium. They are stuck there for a few more days. So many things. I have like a long list here. If I want to name all of them, we are not going to finish here. But just coming back to the money side of things, would you buy, keep, or sell this stock? What's your thought on this stock, basically?
If this is the first time you are watching our channel, I do not like government-backed companies. They are not real companies. They become just government operations. And if you know anything about the government, it moves very slowly. It's not efficient. This is exactly the same thing that is happening to Boeing. It came too big to fail. The government is protecting it. It's deliberately making bad decisions, not running the business well. The operation at Boeing is terrible and it's going to continue. They need to fire that CEO. They need to bring in someone really, really, really strict and get the company back into shape. Before they do that, this company is, just think of it as a branch of the government and don't waste your money. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, let me address some of your comments. So in terms of the CEO, in March of this year, they've made a lot of changes already in terms of the board. So the board of the company has changed quite a lot. So the CEO, Dave Calhoun, is going to leave the company by the end of the year. And
but
now
they need to find better CEO. That's the issue.
Let me tell you, they need to find another CEO. That's the current problem that they have. Right. And they've actually talked to two other people. They've talked to Larry Culp of GE Aerospace, and he declined. And they also talked to another guy who is called David Gatling from Carrier, and he declined as well. So far, it's not going great.
And can you blame those people? I don't think so, because the company has such a bad image that nobody in their right mind wants to step up and be like, okay, I'm gonna be the one who deals with all these people who have lost their family members, and nobody wants to deal with that.
I feel you, but I think my answer is gonna be totally different to yours. I think Boeing is not going anywhere, guys. Boeing is gonna be here for the long and longer term, and there is no competition. I mean, the competition is Airbus. Airbus is a little bit better, but it's not that different. A company backed by the ownership is mainly France and then Germany. Right. France and German government. So it's the same thing. Boeing can be bought and then you keep it for the long run, because this company is not going anywhere. And in terms of what the company is going to be doing, I think maybe they will be slowing down the commercial side and try to rebrand and improve their reputation on the commercial side. And that will take them minimum 5 to 10 years. And they're actually planning to, I believe, do that, because they are planning to release a new model of the 737 MAX. They upgrade. They will release that in 2030. I'm a little bit worried about that date, because they were supposed to release the US Air Force as well many years ago, and now they push it to 2026. And on that, they are losing $2 billion because the project overrun too much. But I'm just talking about other things. So basically, what I'm saying is the company will become maybe a defense and security business. That will be their main money driver or revenue driver. They will be okay in commercial airlines, and hopefully they will become profitable again. That's what I think of the company.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't believe that to be completely true, because as these bad things keep happening, the trust is going to erode completely, where if it gets to a certain point, I think Airbus is going to take most of their shares, and smaller countries in Asia, Europe, they will try to find solutions based on governments. Like in Asia, for example, China can make good strategic partnerships to start selling its plane around the Asian market. And in South America, for example, the same thing can happen, where you will see Chinese plane flying just around that area. They might not come to the US, or they might not go to Europe, but Boeing market will be limited to maybe those two continents, like North America and Europe, right? And they will still run into issues with Airbus, because Airbus will be taking most of their commercial plane business. When we talk about the defense and aerospace already, we are seeing that they are failing again. Defense, once, I don't know if this is gonna happen, but hopefully some of their equipment don't fail. If they start failing too, then the government is gonna be like, okay, this is a great company, but we can just keep buying trash.
Let me help Boeing here. I think what's happening now basically is normal. That happened to like any company basically. There is big mistake that's made, and that impacted a lot of people's life. Every little tiny mistakes that will happen will be in the news. Every single one. So for the NASA one, for example, I read exactly what happened, and it's not a big issue. They will solve that. And going to the International Space Station, this is the first time they will solve that. It's not a big issue. I think every little thing that happened now is in the news for Boeing. And I think the company is not that bad. And especially on the defense parts of things, they are quite good. I haven't seen any big issue there. And one last thing I would say is that Boeing is still a powerhouse. There is something that happened just a few days ago, where there is a company called Spirit Aerosystem. Quick update here, guys. So we recorded the video a few days before Boeing acquisition of Spirit Aerosystems. So we just wanted to kind of let you know so that you don't get confused. But But yeah, back to the video. They used to be part of Boeing back in the 2000s. So Boeing sold them in 2005. And this company makes plane parts, basically aero systems and aeroplane and stuff like that. So basically they work in the defense side of things. And a few days ago, there was a rumor that Boeing was going to acquire them back, and their stock just jumped. That means people still believe in Boeing.
I would say it's just growing your business through acquisition. When I was at Salesforce, Salesforce did this for years till they had this activist investor come in and tell them, you gotta stop. Like, you have to actually grow the business, not just buy more businesses and inflate your revenue.
For them, the story makes a little bit more sense because they are trying to have more ownership in terms of their parts. Because now they've sold so many parts of their business to the point that they don't have any control over many of the parts that come into like building the planes. That's all I have to say.
I would say that that's definitely a step in a good direction, right? Have control over their parts, because there seems to be a lot of blame game going on with Boeing. The last thing they reported was that they bought bad titanium from China. That's bullshit. Like, you are supposed to check what you bought before you install it in a plane. You can't buy something and just blame like the vendor. It doesn't make sense.
If you want to continue, this thing will never stop, right?
Right. Anyway, Boeing has a lot of issues. For me, it's not a buy. I'm sure there are millions of companies, right? And there are thousands of companies that you can actually invest on the stock market. I will not put my money in Boeing. Again, it's not financial advice, but if you like this kind of videos, please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
Okay, guys. We've been working very hard on this AI-backed platform that enables individual and professional investors to query 10K, 10Q, and earning call reports. And this platform is set to revolutionize the way you invest in stock, as it is going to enhance your efficiency thanks to the AI that will quickly process and analyze the vast amount of data in these financial reports, and also highlights the trends, enabling you to make a better decision regarding your investment. And as a matter of fact, all the insight you will see in this video was gotten from this platform. So currently the platform is at a beta version, and we are looking for investors to try it for free and provide us with feedback. So if you are interested, please subscribe to our Substack. The link is in the description, and thank you very much.